Hello and welcome to the Membership Validation Blueprint worksheet. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to research and validate your membership idea using real world examples. So in this video, the idea of it is that you can play this video alongside going through this worksheet. So it's not a video that you watch and then later do the worksheet. I'll give you various points during the video at which to pause the video, complete that part of the worksheet, and then keep moving so that we can keep the momentum up. So I'll walk you through how to use School's discovery feature to find successful communities in your space. So let's jump over to a screen share now. Okay, so I'm here inside what's called School's discover feature or discovery. Now, if you're wondering why my School platform looks a little bit different to yours, it might be because you're using light mode and I'm using dark mode. So I'll just quickly show you how you can change that in your settings. So the way you do that is if you head up to user menu here and then go to settings and then down to theme when that pops up, and you can simply change it from light mode like this to dark mode. I just find that with dark mode, it's a bit easier on the eyes. So that's the reason it looks different. But we'll jump into the discovery section now. So to get to the discovery section on School, I'm going to click the top arrow in the top left there, and then where it says discover communities, that might be at the bottom for you, it might be the top. I'm not sure if they move that around, but if you click on that, then it will bring up almost like a search engine for the different School communities. Now, we'll try and start by finding 2 to 3 memberships in your space. So I'll show you exactly how to then analyze those real examples. So there's nothing better than actual real membership communities with paying members that exist. So you know exactly what to look for, what to model, what works, and where you can then improve upon that existing winning formula in your own membership site. So let's say you are a yoga instructor. So I might just start by typing in yoga, seeing what comes up, and there you go. We've got loads of yoga communities. You can see the amounts that they're charging, how many members are in there. Not sure why that one's coming up at the top, calligraphy. Sometimes the categorization maybe doesn't get it quite right, but as you go through, you can see lots of different communities here focused around yoga. If, for example, you were in fitness, then maybe I would go back or maybe you're more to do with like business coaching, or it's something to do with investments or something like that. You can search those things, you can have a look around and see the different types of communities there and things that are available. So that's how you use the discover feature. Now, another thing that is almost like the discover feature, but arguably even better, is if you want to see which communities in your niche are already doing well, rather than just kind of searching through them and trying to focus on the ones that are doing well. If you just want to bring those to the top, you can use the School Games dashboard. Now, remember, the School Games is a competition that you get entered into simply by having a community on School. You can enter into it by going to lewissmith.co/school and sign up for a 14-day free trial. And 14 days is plenty of time for you to be able to use it for the purpose that we need it here, which is researching. And so the way that I would do that is at the top here, once you've gone through that process, you've headed to lewissmith.co/school, signed up for the 14-day trial, you'll be shown this. Now on here, we're looking for the School Games. So you click on that and it will take us to the School Games community. And then it's the leaderboards tab. Now within leaderboards here, you can see the different categories that you can look for School communities within, but you can also sort it by, do I want to just see ones that are performing well this quarter? Or do I want to see ones that are performing well over all time and maybe in all categories or just in hobbies, for example? So you can see it's a really powerful tool to allow you to kind of dive straight in, filter on the category that is most relevant for your niche. Your niche will be like a subcategory within one of those subcategories, most likely, unless you're going super broad, which I probably wouldn't recommend. And you can then see how much revenue are they generating? What's their churn like? You can see here the red is how much revenue how much has their revenue changed over the last 7 days, for example. So really powerful stuff. And let's have a look then at one of the examples. So this was actually an example that we looked at earlier, the Good Dog Yorktown. It was one of our examples that we used. So we'll click on that one and have a look at what's called their School About page. So this is the the about page. It's almost like the landing page. I guess you'd call it the sales page, where people come to have a look at this school community if they're considering joining it. So let's break down what we're looking for here. We'll the first thing is we want the name. So the Good Dog Yorktown is the name of this community. So I'm going to copy that and then head back over to our worksheet. Okay, so we're in the worksheet now, and step one is to watch this video as you're doing now. And then it's the quick research first. So this is a 15-minute task max. Wouldn't spend more than this amount of time on it for now. And this is where you go in and you're just adding in the name of the membership that you found that is most like yours. I've put space on this worksheet for 2. If you want to do it for 3 or 4, you can. You could always do it in like a spreadsheet or something. We're just trying to gather some basic information at the moment. So we've got that. Next thing, we are going to go over to here and figure out how much are they charging. Well, it's $49 per month, so we know that. So I'll copy and paste that, head back over to my worksheet, and then I'm just going to paste that in here so that we know that it's $49 a month. And then the next part says, what's the core promise? So what's the core promise that this community is making? So let's head over and have a look. So we can see here, we make it easier for you to manage and fix your dog's reactivity, obedience, and socialization issues. Interesting. And then, yeah, I quite like this. Want a calm, well-behaved dog that you can take on more adventures. So this system is for those who want a calm, well-behaved dog. They can take on more adventures. That's a really nice outcome. It's a transformation, and it even ties in the benefit to the person doing this that they will get from going through the process. So I'd say that's a really nice core promise. And I'm going to add that in if this was a community that was in my niche, in the area in which I was going to make a community, just so that I could see, well, that's kind of what they're promising as an outcome. So that's a really good example of a community that's doing well. That's what they're offering. That's their promise. The next we're looking at then is, what's the main offering, right? So we want to see, what do members get? And they actually make this really easy. They kind of list this all out, and they say it's step-by-step courses that they're getting. It's specialized training courses, encouragement and understanding from like-minded people. So that's the community feedback, really. And then specialized feedback from us as well, which is the direct support as well. So we can see, we could probably like summarize that and put it into our own words and figure it out, or you could just copy it in word for word if you wanted to. We're kind of a little bit over there, but you get the idea, right? So I'm kind of just putting some bits and pieces in there just so that I know. And then finally, member count as well. We've gone a little bit over on here. You could probably make this a little bit smaller, get rid of some of the line spacing as well if you wanted to make it a little bit more. Yeah, bring it down, reduce the font size, however you want to do it, right? We're just kind of using this as note taking for now. And then, yeah, the member count. So how many members do they have in there? Let's go back and have a quick look. We can see they've got 316 members in there. So we'll go in here and we'll put member count 316, right? So you can see the example there. We can see what they're offering. And this validates that there's real demand, okay? So we'll do another example here then. We'll look at the leaderboards again. This was one that we looked at earlier, again, actually. So we'll open that one up and have a look there and see what they're saying. So we can see at the right, well, actually, the first thing is that the community name is the Lady Change. So we'll add that in. If this is a community that, you know, it is in the topic of the kind of niche that we're thinking we might enter, if it's the health and weight loss niche. And then from there, we are looking at the price. So what's the monthly price of that one? It was $49 a month. So we've got that. It's $49 per month. The core promise of this one, I would say, I mean, if you look at what they're saying here, it's actually quite interesting. They've got a very, very specific transformational promise here. And it's saying to help you lose 10 to 20 pounds in 8 weeks and build a healthier lifestyle. That's a really nice core promise there that we can kind of extract from that and say, okay, that's what they are promising. You know, if you really like distill this down into its essence of what is the promise, you can dress it up and have all of this other stuff, but like ultimately, why are people joining it? What's the reason? It's to lose 10 to 20 pounds in 8 weeks and build a healthier lifestyle, right? That's what it comes down to. Now, there's plenty more than that as well, but that's really the essence of it. And then the offerings, I think what I could see there was like, you've got like, yeah, weekly question and answer coaching calls. We've got things like meal plans. We've got workouts. So yeah, I mean, you could probably just summarize those, put them into there, and then the member count. I think there was 1,300, if I'm not mistaken. 1,300 members in there as well. So we can kind of see and get a bit of an idea. Now, obviously, these two examples are completely different, but you would do this for two example communities that were performing well in the kind of niche arena that you're thinking of going into, right? So you don't have to stop at two if you want to do it for three or four. If you want to do it in a spreadsheet, there's a bit neater than my worksheet where I've gone off the edge of the page there, you can do. But the point of this is pause this video right now and complete these parts of the worksheet for the communities that match the type of transformation that you want to help people achieve. And once you've done that, then come back and continue watching this video. Okay, so hopefully you've now done that. You've completed that part, because everything else we do from now on will be building on that part. So if you haven't, I really would recommend just pausing, taking some time to do that, because this is going to build the foundation for your own business, your own membership site. So really important. Then we'll move to what's working well. So this is the next step. Should take you about 5 minutes, and I'll guide you through it right now. So let's analyze how successful communities present their transformation. And what we can do is look at one of the examples we looked at earlier, which was, if I go back to the leaderboard here, I believe it was in music. Yeah, this one, Music Funding Academy by a guy called Chris. So in the worksheet, it says, how do they describe their transformation? What content and support do they provide? And how do members interact? So let's just have a look at this. You don't necessarily have to fill this in, because your task for this is going to be putting together 3 things that you'd like to include in your membership. But yeah, let's have a look at how they do it in theirs. So their transformation is pretty clear. You can see I'm highlighting it on the screen here. It's to help musicians get their first $20,000 to $60,000 in music funding to invest into their music marketing. So it's a really nice transformation. It's very clear, and they've got it right up here in the kind of bio section at the top as well. And then in terms of the content and the support that they offer, I mean, they've got like the 6 live training calls per week. They've got 20 plus music courses, done with you, marketing support, distribution opportunities as well. So there's lots in there. And yeah, they emphasize like the live group calls, the shared learning community, learn, network, win together. So some really nice deliverables there, and kind of ways that they deliver that. So this is an example of like the deliverables that they have in theirs. So now, with a completely open mind about this, not worrying if you get it wrong, just put together what are 3 things that you would like to include in your membership based on what you've seen from the other communities that are succeeding in your area at the moment. What are 3 things that you'd like to include? Are they coaching calls? Are they live classes? Are they videos? Are they in-person meetups? Are they retreats? Are they some kind of done for you element? Is it live support? Is it group support? Is it like, what are a few things? It doesn't have to be 3, it can be more than 3, but I think as a minimum, try and get 3 down. And yeah, at this point, pause the video, input these, and then let's move on to the next part. Okay, so once you've done that, make sure you have done that before we go ahead. Let's look at a simple demand check. So what we're doing really here, and these are just yes or no questions, so they won't really take 5 minutes. You can pretty much answer these just by looking at the about pages of the other communities that you found in your rough niche. And remember, they don't need to be directly in your niche. The idea is that you'll put your own positive, unique, and personalized spin on how you present your community. But the first question is clear member results. So are they showcasing specific outcomes? So when we look at some of the communities that we see here, the music one, for example, so we can see here that they're posting kind of wins from within their community, like mini testimonials on here of people posting wins that are just screenshots from within their communities. So I would say yes They are. If I was looking at that one, I would just put yes. I'm seeing clear member results. Is it professional presentation in terms of, is their about page well structured? Is it clear? Watch the video, like click and actually play the video and see what you think of it and the way that they present the community. We're really just trying to kind of validate, like, is this a viable type of community for us to kind of model? Is it an example of success really in this kind of industry? Because if you've got people paying for it and you found it in the school games, for example, and it's performing well, then the chances are they're doing something right. So we don't just want to kind of start from scratch. We're not reinventing the wheel. Remember, we are building on what it already works and making it better, personalizing it and adding our unique spin. And then the next one, growth indicators. So are they actively promoting or growing it? So what you can do is head over to the school games again. Remember, if you're not part of the school games, head to lewissmith.co/school and you can get a 14-day trial to sign up to that. And when you are there, you'll be able to see in the school games leaderboards the 7-day performance of each of these communities, or whichever one you're looking at. Now, granted, it only gives you this for the top 20, I believe, in each category. But still, if the one you're looking at is either in the top 20 quarterly or all time for that category, then you'll be able to see, like, this one has gone up by $196 over the last 7 days. So that means they've had like a positive growth, taking into account churn, so the amount of members who are canceling their subscription versus the ones that are coming in, and they've got a net positive of 196. This one actually has a net negative of 757, but they're dealing at a much higher base. So they're at $11,700. So $757 is kind of relatively small compared to the overall size of that community, which is good. So obviously they probably want it to be smaller, but I'm sure they're working on retention mechanisms and things like that as well. But yeah, we want to just know, is it growing? Is it not? Where's it at? I guess what we're really looking for is, for example, if this said 11,000, but recently it just dropped significantly and a huge proportion of it was in red, maybe it's declining. At that point, I wouldn't suddenly rule out that industry and that niche. I would just say, well, let me just find a few others that are definitely growing before I kind of choose which elements I want to model and create my community around. And that's where we then get to the next part, which is really exciting, which is where we then do put our own spin on things, which is your unique angle. So we've set aside 5 minutes for this one. And this is where we'll look at the successful examples that you've noted down and define your unique approach. So what personal experience, is the first question, can you bring to your community? So for example, one of the ones we looked at earlier in an earlier module was a community called That Pickleball School by Kyle, right? So for example, Kyle from this community brings pro level expertise, but makes it accessible to everyday players. So ask yourself the question, what personal experience can you bring to this? You don't have to be a pro necessarily, but what life experience, what lessons, what things have you encountered that can help you help people make this transformation that you're trying to help them do? So pause this video now, take a few seconds, few minutes to come up with this, and then let's continue once you've done that. Remember, micro actions is how we're going to do this. Okay, done that, added your personal experience. Now let's look at what you would naturally do differently. So we'll go back to the lady change, for example. This is a nice example because the lady that runs this, Petra, if you think about what has she done differently here, well, she focused this weight loss community specifically on menopausal women rather than just generic kind of weight loss training or getting healthier for everyone. She's very, very focused on a very specific type of avatar. So ask yourself the question, what would you naturally do differently because of the way you've experienced something or the way you've taught something or who you are and what group you belong to or how you can help people with this transformation in a way that only you can add your personalized blend of experiences and lessons to create this transformation for them. So have a think about that. How would you naturally do this differently? So pause the video, write down your answer now. And then the next point there is, how would you explain things your way? So we'll go over to the dog training one, and notice how this community talk about this training system is for those who want a training system that integrates into their daily life. So it breaks down complex training into simple daily life integration. That's how they're explaining things. They're putting things into practice in a way that's simplified, straightforward, step by step, daily life integration. I imagine if I had a dog and I had the issues that people joining this community have, where you want to fix your dog's reactivity, obedience, and socialization, I probably don't want some really extensive scientific model where I have to read a load of books and watch hours and hours of tutorials, and it's all very, very overwhelming. I just want something that I can just bake into my day-to-day life, keep it simple, right? So they've tailored this for the people that they know are their dream avatar, their dream customers. And so try and do the same. How would you explain things to help people get the transformation that you're going to help them get in your own unique way? So fill in your answer to that section there now. Pause the video and meet me at the next one. And so then this one is really just a confidence booster on a scale of 1 to 10. After having gone through this process, seen the other offers in your niche, seen what people are doing, figured out your unique angle, built in what you would do differently and your personalization and how you would do things. Remember, we're still going to build out the offer, so don't feel that you have to have everything ready. But just at this stage, having come into this, maybe thinking I'm not 100% sure if what I'm even thinking about is validated, on a scale of 1 to 10, how validated does this make you feel? Just put down a number. There's no right or wrong answer. You can put down your number there. And then how excited are you to create your own version? So, for example, if you had quite a low score for how validated this makes you feel, perhaps we've got to do a little bit more in-depth research to make sure we're finding other communities, other memberships that are succeeding, that are overlapping enough with what we want to build that we can see there's proof of concept there. If we are feeling very, very unvalidated because we just didn't find anything that was similar, then maybe the topic that we're thinking of creating a community around isn't something that overlaps with a market need, or certainly isn't in the school discovery ecosystem. So you can absolutely validate your niche in other ways if you want to go and look externally from school, if you want to search on Google, find membership sites. It's just that they're not always as transparent. It doesn't show you the earnings. It doesn't allow you to rank them. You can't categorize them. And so I find that using the school discovery feature is a really nice way of doing it. We're going to be selling the community on school anyway, so it helps us create something that we know is already working on that platform. And yeah, the last part is self-explanatory, but you should be really excited. I hope that you are excited about building your own community, and I hope that's a 10 out of 10. And with that said, you can then move on to your next steps. So at this point, you're then ready for the next step. So if you've completed your version of this worksheet, at that point, feel free to share your findings in our community. Why not make a post about it? Why not make a comment about it and tell us what you discovered through going through the process of validating your membership idea and noting down which elements that you'll include in yours. So as a result of having gone through this, you'll now know what you want to bring. You'll know the things that you want to include in your membership as well that we covered there. And then you can, after this, move on to the next micro action sheet, which is the niche clarity sheet. So I'll see you in the next worksheet video.